Good evening, Extreme Weather Videos. Welcome to YouTube here. We're here live on StormCast with the crew. Great to have everyone back here after an extended break here, an extended summer break. But I'm your host, Joey Pisani. Great to be back here with you. We've got an awesome team here with us tonight. Going to be talking about a couple different things here this evening. Just catching up, talking about Winter Storm Avery, talking about some of the California wildfires, take a look at some of our upcoming, what we're expecting here this winter. Obviously, holidays right around the corner, so I'm going to be asking each of our team members here, what they're looking forward to the holidays, any traditions that they have, things like that. And then, we'll just catch up here. So, with us this evening, if you're new here to our broadcast, thank you so much for joining us. Let me introduce you to our panel here from our team. From left to right, up in Wisconsin, Green Bay Packers are playing. Dan, what's the score, Dan?
I'm recording it, so I don't want to know right now, but we'll watch that later. I'm sure we're just trampling over the Seahawks there, no problem.
Sea chickens, exactly. Moving a little bit further to the east, up in Ohio, receiving some dusting of snow earlier today would be David. Great to have you here, David, with us. Good evening.
Good evening.
And a little bit closer to EWVHQ, down in Thomasville, North Carolina, is our very own Georgia, living in North Carolina. I know it's a punny world out there. And enduring the snow and the cold, from Pennsylvania would be Laura. Good evening, Laura. We'll be getting a report from you this evening about your conditions there and what you saw today. And from the great north, the abominable snowman himself, Stephen Kimball. Good evening, buddy. Good to have you back. Hope you're doing well. And of course, it's me, guys, Joey Pisani here from Atlanta, Georgia, where the weather is nice all year round. So, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up. Dan, Steven, and Laura, you guys all kind of are more in the northern part of the country. Laura, we'll start with you because obviously you're kind of dealing with Winter Storm Avery today and through this evening, and looking at radar here, it still looks like it's coming down there at this time. So tell us what conditions have been like there for you in western Pennsylvania today.
It started out as freezing rain with sleet mixed in early this morning, and throughout the day, temperatures have been hovering about 32 degrees. Thankfully, roads have been wet because crews have been out pre-treating the roads, but ice has been accumulating on branches, untreated surfaces, and even parked cars. I drove just around my neighborhood this morning, and the roads were wet despite the freezing rain because they were all treated. And about 6:30, it transitioned over to all snow. I didn't get a chance to measure the snow yet. It looks like there's maybe an inch and a half on the ground. The forecast area is 2 to 4 inches, and snow is supposed to taper off around midnight, 1 a.m. The main roads around my house are currently wet because crews have been out treating them.
Wow. So here's a live look at the radar here across western Pennsylvania, and you're northeast of Pittsburgh here in the Ellenwood, Butler, Newcastle area. So, we've definitely see some of that freezing rain that you were talking about. Also kind of that snow. It's really that mixture here between the freezing rain and the snow. Looks like kind of coming in your area. So do you have snow on the ground or really just freezing rain right now?
We have an inch and a half of snow. I haven't measured it yet. I will measure in the morning to get the final total. I have my board out, my snow measuring board.
Wow.
But
awesome.
It's just been a very messy day.
Yeah. How are power outages and things like that in your area?
They are widespread. Thankfully, I still have power. I might have to sign off here in about 15 minutes so I can keep my phone charged in case we do lose power. But most of the city of Butler is without power. There are a lot of road closures because of downed trees and downed power lines.
Gotcha. So school's probably going to be out across the area tomorrow.
Not too sure. There was only one school district, and that is in northeastern Butler County. It's AC Valley. They are running on a 2-hour delay for Friday, November 17th. But the other schools haven't called any delays or closings yet. I do know like all evening activities at the schools and colleges have been canceled because of the weather.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this year's like we were talking about, I mean, it's a pretty widespread system. Really goes across really eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, and it's going to be spreading all the way up into upstate New York, where they're supposed to see some places possibly up to a foot of snow.
Oh my God.
I'm hearing. So in places like upstate New York, up toward into Maine, stuff like this. So definitely stay safe out there. Definitely, guys, we'll be posting probably some of Laura's video here tomorrow that she shot earlier tonight. So definitely be sure to check that out right here on our YouTube channel and give us a sub to check out some of that video. Other folks I wanted to get to talk to here about what their start of their winter has been like is Dan up in Wisconsin. I mean, what's it been like up there for you so far for 2018?
Well, right now it's still pretty quiet. It's just been cold. We really haven't had much for precipitation or much for snow, really. We've had maybe an inch or two here and there. Nothing really to write home about. But it's just been cold. Like today, the high, I don't think got out of the upper 20s.
Wow.
It's been that way kind of all week. I was just taking a look at what our average high is for the month of November, and it's about 46 degrees and or 42. No, 46 degrees for Milwaukee for the month of November, and we're about halfway through the month, so that's probably about right. And it's been below freezing all week, so it's just been cold. But that'll change. November can kind of go either way. This particular year it just ended up being a bit colder than average, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and looking at Milwaukee, I mean the cold really just looks like it's going to continue here. I mean, we're talking not really getting to the 40s until really Thanksgiving Day. Maybe your first opportunity at actually cracking 40 degrees, maybe up to 43 degrees by Thanksgiving Day.
And that'll feel warm by the time we get there. So if it's anything like that the day after, you'll have to bundle warm if you're going to be standing out in the lines waiting for stores to open at 3 a.m. So good luck with that. But
on Black Friday.
Yeah. So it's just been cold. It's quiet but cold.
Yeah. I mean, your lows are in the 20s, 23, 25, 27. Wow. Yeah.
We've been down to the teens earlier this week, so it's cold.
Yeah. Interestingly, though, I mean, like you said, not a whole lot of snow. Have you had a lot of rain or just pretty dry?
We've had, when did it rain last? I want to say it rained about last week, late last week. It's been fairly dry. It's just been cold. So I would rather have it snow at 32 degrees than get cold rain at 36, 37. That to me is almost worse.
Yeah.
But now we're expected to get another inch or so, maybe overnight tonight, but nothing real significant.
Yeah, it looks like up in Minnesota, that Clipper system coming down might get you.
Yep. Yeah, that's what they're calling for. So if you're up in Minnesota or western Wisconsin, that's probably about making its way through right about now, I would say. And then if you're over in the Milwaukee area, look for maybe an inch or so on the ground when you get up in the morning. But that's nothing for us. We don't even shovel that.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me. I mean, a little bit. I know we've talked severe weather in your area a lot of time, but with the lake, do you usually get the heavier snowfall totals more inland or closer to where the lake is? Do you get, I mean, you guys get lake effect snow there or not a whole lot?
We would get lake effect snow, but it's generally when you get that east wind, because then it's moving that warmer air over the colder air inland, and then it creates precipitation. So we can get lake effect snow. Usually we get it as a system moves through. If a low comes through, and then we get on that backside low with the east winds then coming off the lake. So when those type of systems come through, sometimes if you're right up against the lake, that'll tack on a few inches of snow. But aside from that, it's usually on the state of Michigan, on the side of Lake Michigan, normally gets most of the lake effect snow.
Yeah.
Unless if you're in real far northern Wisconsin off of Superior, that a bit. But around the Milwaukee area, the conditions have to be just right for us to get lake effect snow. But we do. When they come through on that backside low, then we will.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you'll have some exciting weather this winter.
I don't mind snow. I like it around Christmas and that. Usually once we get about past New Year's, then I'm about done.
You're ready for spring to come. Like, give me storms again.
Then I'm ready to start chasing. Yep, that's right.
Awesome. Other one we have up in the far northern region would be Steven. So, I mean, Steven, talk to me about what things been like up there in Montana. I mean, you guys been getting a hammer with a lot of snow here. I think it started back in like late October. You guys got your first snowfall.
Yeah, we had since it's been November, we've gotten. I think our first snowfall was a couple of weeks ago. We had 4 inches of snow, and it's melted. According to the meteorologist, that's what Care TV said, that there's more snow and coming tomorrow. So we'll have brand new snow on the ground tomorrow.
How much snow are you expecting up there?
4 inches again.
Is that what? I mean, it's different probably from where you're at, say where Dan's at, or even where like Georgia's at. I'm not sure if Georgia got any snow from this thing or not, any snow flurries. But I mean, what's a pretty big snowstorm for you there in Montana? What do you guys consider as a big snow?
The Bozeman area last year. Not Bozeman, but Browning. Browning is between Kalispell area and Great Falls, and they got 24 inches.
Gotcha. So that's pretty significant.
You know, and it was all the way up to the roofs and everything of people's houses and everything. They're all trapped inside where they couldn't get out. You know, all that stuff, lost power and all that stuff, and it took a while for that whole snow to melt, and everything. But yeah, if you're up in the Browning area, that's where they get the word. That's where it's really bad. Like even Havre, Montana gets the worst too, because they're on the Canadian border, right there on the Montana-Canadian border, pretty much.
Gotcha. So, I mean, Steven, you've lived up in Montana for a long time, so you're very familiar with, winter weather and how to deal with it. So what would you tell someone that, say, maybe is just moving to, a northern state where they get a lot of snow? What type of tips do you give those people for dealing with winter weather? And Laura, Georgia, Dan, all of you northerners, even David, feel free to chime in. I mean, what are some of the biggest winter weather tips? I mean, I remember when I moved, say, from Miami even up to Atlanta, getting used to the winter season was a big change for us. So
Yeah, and I've talked to people that have moved from like different states, and I've talked to them. I've been telling them about the weather, what happens up here, what it's like, and everything, and they're like, "Oh wow, okay then," you know. But even though that happens, we get lots of people that use heaters during the winter times up here, and we get a lot of fires from that. And I tell people, be careful, you trying to heat up your house with heaters because they could be fire hazards.
Like those space heaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely excellent tip there is, don't place anything that could potentially burn over a space heater like a towel or a jacket or something like that.
Let's keep this roll of paper towels right next to the space heater.
Yeah, sure.
And not plug it into a plug strip. Those like plug strips they sell, because the voltage is so high that it can catch fire.
That is something I actually haven't heard before.
I have.
So you're saying plug a space heater directly into a wall outlet?
Exactly.
Right.
Got it. Okay. I honestly had not heard of that one before about don't plug it into a power strip.
And I actually use them, and the safest one I got is a radiator. And then I have one that's like a ceramic. So nothing I put it anywhere. I don't put nothing close to any one, but they're pretty safe.
Mm-hmm. Do any of you guys use those oil heaters at all? Or have you ever used any of the oil heaters?
No, I never have.
Can't say I have.
I remember, I think my parents still have it. It's like an older like oil heater that you plug in and it like heats the oil or whatever, and then heats the room. And that thing surprisingly still works pretty good. So I wasn't sure if any of you guys had ever used them and what you thought of them compared to, say just like the radiator heaters or something like that.
I've used a lot of kerosene heaters, but never an oil.
Yeah. So, I mean, since we're on the topic of winter weather safety, excellent start there with talking about heaters. Obviously, winter's really kind of getting into full swing here. Our first named storm of the year being Avery. What do you guys do what are some important safety tips and things for like preparing your car for the winter season? I mean, Steven, Dan, do you guys actually like switch out your tires to winter tires, or do you have like all season tires or what?
I don't on mine. I have a all-wheel drive vehicle, so I just have the regular all seasons on mine. But to each their own. I mean, I guess it depends on what you drive, but nothing real fancy for me with the car. I usually try to keep a set of jumper cables in the car just in case if someone else needs them. But aside from that, that's about it.
That's smart for sure. What about you, Laura? What's your winter car safety kit look like?
I have a emergency kit. It has a tow rope, plastic shovel, a whistle, gloves, and I think hand warmers. And I guess my tires are pretty good. I just got a Chevy Cruze at the end of February, so I do not know how my car is in the snow yet. I have yet to drive it on a snow-covered road, but my tires do look pretty good. They're Firestone mud and snow tires. And I always have bottled water, non-perishable snacks, and an extra change of clothes for each of my passengers.
That's smart.
Those are my two kids.
Awesome, yeah. I know last winter I kind of did my first, well, not my first, but I guess like one of my more major winter storm chases up in David's area, up in Cincinnati last year. And kind of some of the things that I had was first aid kit. I bought a small shovel, sand. Interestingly, had 2 bags of sand, saved my life when I got stuck. Just poured the sand right behind the wheel, and I was able to back out of the little muddy ditch there. Worked like a charm. Toe strap, like you said, Laura. Bottle of water. I also had. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them, but like those space blankets. Have you ever heard of them?
I heard of them.
Yeah, so they're like these little insulator, like space blankets that you can buy that kind of wrap yourself up in like a cocoon, and it can go like protects you from like -20 degrees or something like that. They use them like for NASA or whatever is where I heard about them. So I have a couple of those, and then also just like regular blankets as well. And then food and stuff like that, like non-perishable, like crackers and chewy bars and stuff like that I keep in my car, and hand warmers. Those hot hands, I highly recommend them for those of you living in the north. Just be careful, because every now and then if you shake it too much or press on it, it will explode. Then you'll have some nice hot water, wherever it explodes. But those things are really good. We use them at work a lot. Put them like inside your gloves or inside your shoe. Keep your feet warm. Really, really good stuff. They last up to like, depending on how cold it is. They say it lasts up to like 8 hours, but it really doesn't. It lasts maybe like an hour or two.
Wow.
So,
I want to point out the importance of having a shovel in your car. Last January, I was just at Moraine State Park just shooting snow pictures and footage, and I just pulled off on the road just a little bit just to get my car off the road, and I got stuck. There was like 6 inches of snow, so I got my shoveled in front of my front tires and managed to get out. If I would have never had a shovel, I would have never been able to make it out.
Excellent tip there for sure. Yeah, good story there. Glad you had the shovel. So
plastic shovel was a lifesaver.
I mean, and even with me last year with the toe strap, we were able to use it to actually help pull someone out of a ditch. So I mean, that was, you never know when you're gonna have to use it, and things like that.
I got one other one though, but this one here you could really use for any time of the year, but I find around winter it becomes even more important, and that's just, if you haven't done it recently, go ahead and replace your windshield wipers, because you end up using them a lot in the winter with the snow and salt kicking up, and then you got to clear out your windshield, and if you can't see real well, ain't good.
Excellent point there, Dan.
We just put on new ones on both of our vehicles, and got to be able to see where you're going.
Exactly. Another thing, I still have to get another bottle of windshield washer fluid, but you do use a lot, especially when the roads are slushy and a mess. And I went through half a bottle it was between Christmas and New Year's, whenever Erie got that lake effect snow. I drove up a few days after Christmas and it was documenting it, and I ran out right on 79 and I could not see out my windshield, so I had to pull off and fill my reservoir up.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what you guys are talking about, because this was my windshield.
Yikes.
From chasing last year. So, I mean, that's exactly, I mean, it was like impossible to see. I mean, I was like, had the windshield washer fluid. I mean, we had to like stop literally like on the side of the highway just to clean the windshield because of all the salt and everything that was getting kicked up from it. So I mean, that was the view right there. I mean, how in the world are you supposed to?
Well, how did you end up with did somebody egg your car, or what? How did you end up with that?
No, I mean, it was.
What was the size of that bug?
Oh, right here, yeah.
Holy cow! You got parts on there.
Yeah, I mean, so that was from last year when we were up in Ohio, up in Cincinnati. David,
those are the size of our mosquitoes up here in the summer.
Maybe you know how they use the beet juice, Dan? Maybe it's just like a giant beet that got splattered there on the windshield. I don't know.
Maybe.
So, but this was last year. I hope we get to see that again.
Snow down there in the Atlanta area. That doesn't happen.
Looking out my front window, that was on January 17th. last year. So I hope we get some more scenes like that with the snow there. So this was when I was up in Ohio. This was up in Columbus, Ohio last year in January. So they got a good 2 to 3 inches there. So it was pretty good. So hopefully this winter, I hope we get, a nice big snowstorm down here where we get like 4 to 6 inches. So
That's cute.
That one in January.
Nice big snowstorm, 4 to 6 inches. That's the Atlanta guy. Sorry, Joey. Go ahead.
Well, for people like us, that's big.
I know.
Well, I mean, Bixton, Georgia, there in North Carolina, y'all can get foot or so up there, right?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. I mean,
seems like we get ice more than anything, though.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I think this year is going to be I wouldn't be surprised if we get a big old ice storm here in the southeast somewhere this year. That just one of those crippling ice storms, because they haven't had like a big ice storm here since I think it was 2000, and it was before I moved here. Was like the last like major ice storm. It's like 2007 or 2008 that there was a big ice storm that came through the southeast and did lots of damage and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Those are the worst. You can deal with snow, but
I'm gonna
ice
have
is
to
terrible.
sign off here because my phone's getting low, so I have to end the call. But it was nice seeing everybody.
Oh, you too, Laura.
Laura, stay safe up
Stay
there.
safe.
And keep us posted. We'll be looking for more of your video.
I'll try to get them up. Everyone have a great night.
You too.
You too, Laura.
Thank you.
So, David, what's winter been like there for you in Southwest Ohio?
Right now, it's still snowing, I think. Yeah, it stopped. Oh, it stopped? Well, my roommate just got home, and he said that it stopped raining and snowing. But now, if you haven't had time, get studded tires. They help in the wintertime.
Did it give you more time?
Yes, they give you a lot more traction. But some states, they're illegal. Like if you go up to Michigan, you can't have studded tires on your car.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can't have them in Wisconsin either. We expect you to know how to drive up here in snow.
Oh, throwing the shade. Yeah, I feel the shade.
Well, if I come to Wisconsin, I'll go to your house and let you drive me.
All right, that sounds good. We can do that.
Yeah. So I mean, turning from snow and winter to hot and fires, I'm sure some of our viewers here that are watching this evening have kind of heard or seen some about the California wildfires. Numerous wildfires out there that have gone on everywhere from parts of Northern California, even into Southern California. Interestingly enough, I was reading earlier that the state of California actually declared like a statewide emergency due to the air quality and the asbestos and everything that's in the air. So just a really bad situation out there. So definitely keep those folks out there in your prayers. It's going to be a long road to recovery out there. It just seems like every year it's like a different section just keeps getting scorched out there. So really rough conditions with the dry, abnormally warm and dry weather out there, whereas out here in the east, it's been cooler and much wetter. I mean, here in Atlanta, we just kind of got doused with a bunch of rain here, about 3 to 4 inches over the past 2 days. So I'm like, man, if we send some of that out there to California, that would really help things out. So, but for sure, thoughts, guys, on situation out in California?
Right now the death toll is now at 63.
That's all officially at 63 there in state of California.
Now, wasn't there some people found in Perth today? I think that's where, like 17.
It's a
I think
very,
that's what I heard.
here's the thing about these California fires. You get the Santa Ana winds, and then you get the fires. The fires in the Santa Ana winds don't mix good together because
Yeah, that's down in the southern part, but where the big one started in Paradise, they didn't have Santa Ana winds. They just had high winds. The Santa Ana winds are more in the southern part, like towards Malibu, which is what really helped that one. But this one that happened in Paradise had nothing to do with that. Just
yeah,
high
and
wind, basically.
the really crazy part is people want to stay in their house while the fires are going, and then out of nowhere you get all these crazy winds, and then all of a sudden you get a fire behind your house and your house catches on fire. It's not a good thing. It's better to have the firefighters do the work instead of you, because
Not if they can't get to you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You know what's
that's
interesting?
true.
I want to share this here real quick. We always talk about, radar for this and radar for that. What people don't often think about is the way that radars are used for understanding how fires spread, and the way that the plume rises and the wind blows it and kind of drops those embers further down. This here that I'm about to show you, this is a radar derived rendering of the campfire plume from ignition all the way through the devastation of Paradise. And it just kind of shows how radar is used to understand, the dynamics and the wind field and the way that the fire progresses. And, hopefully one day things like this will be able to allow us to issue, like fire weather warnings for communities, so they can have, more than say 15, 20 minutes being told to, get out now, because in 15, 20 minutes, everything's going to be
It's not
going.
a whole lot you can do in 15 or 20 minutes.
Exactly. So, I mean, take a look at this here. I found this here on Twitter earlier today, and I want to share it tonight. But you can kind of see here, it's kind of a loop here, but the fire starts here, and you can see the way with the wind field, how it blows that plume. The yellows and oranges, that's like ash and embers kind of being blown downwind over the community there of Paradise. So I thought that was really interesting, how it kind of time scales it, and just how that plume just exploded, spread downwind, and then eventually, they were able to, get it under control and things like that. But just some really interesting uses for radar beyond, just severe weather or hurricanes and things like that. And same thing with, satellite imagery, things like that. So the good news is, for those areas is over the next 6 to 10 days here, we are looking at some above normal amount of precipitation here for that region. So that should hopefully help some of the situation out there. We're looking at about a greater than 50% chance of above normal precipitation there across much of California and into Nevada. So
It's going to help, but then you've got to remember there's going to be mudslides from that.
Mm-hmm. That's an absolutely excellent point that you bring up there, George, is because you have all this scorched earth, and in between, it's been so warm and dry out there, and then you bring, even just an inch or two of rain to an area that's just been literally burned to the ground, and it's very mountainous terrain out there. So yeah, you can get a lot of mudslides and debris flows out in that area. So it's definitely a concern that will be shaping up here over the next 6 to 10 days for sure. So, meanwhile, up there in Dan's area and David's area looks like it's going to be pretty dry overall the next 6 to 10 days. So
Yeah, just cold.
yeah, cold and dry. It's
Cold
like
and dry.
snowing if it's going to be 20 degrees. You're kind of like me, Dan, right? You feel like if it's going to be below 32 degrees, it should be snowing outside, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Let's make it worth it then, you know? Well, it'll be snowing.
Awesome.
I heard on the weather report today, all the rain that we had here in North Carolina, that if it had been snow, it would have been like 24 inches. Because we've had a lot of rain in the last 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be about 2 inches of rain then. No,
that's about what we got.
More. Well, I'm pretty sure the ratio is about
10 to 1.
10 to 1. So for every inch of rain, you get about 10 inches of snow.
Wow.
Yep,
so if you had 24 inches of snow, that means you would have got almost 2.5 inches of rain then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. One of our viewers here that's watching asked us, what is your favorite memory of the fall or winter season? So Dan, we'll start with you. What's one of your favorite memories of the fall or winter season?
Depends on how far we're going back.
I don't think there's a time limit, just I guess in general.
Fall or winter season? Christmas is my favorite holiday, so probably just in general being Christmas. I don't know if there's one particular moment that stands out, but just, getting together with family and enjoying the holiday. It's a good time.
What do you guys like? What's your, I guess, Christmas tradition with your family that you usually do that I guess makes it so special?
I do all the cooking.
Well, for us, it's a little bit different because on Christmas Eve is actually also my dad's birthday. So
awesome.
We do usually something during the day, something that he wants to do. And then we always go to church on Christmas Eve night because we don't make it there on Christmas Day. We just don't. But we do make it a tradition to go on Christmas Eve. And that's probably one of my favorite parts too is, the dimming of the lights and singing Silent Night and holding the candle and all that. And that just, that's really what Christmas is about anyway, right? So that there is probably at the near the top of the list as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so for us, it's a little bit different. Just makes it that much more special, really.
Yep. What about you, David? What's one of your favorite fall or winter memories that you have? I'll come back to him. Georgia, what's one of your favorite fall or winter memories or traditions that you have?
When, I'm a mother of 3, and I knew there was a couple of winters there we didn't know, if we were going to be able to do a whole lot or not. And somehow or another, we made it through. The kids were all little then, and I remember I was like, well, we're not going to have turkey this year because we just basically couldn't afford it. So I went in the freezer and found, I think I made something like a tater tot casserole or something like that.
Nice.
And that was our Christmas dinner. But those kids had a ball with just that right there. And they really enjoyed themselves.
Awesome.
But, we made it through. And, it was a good thing.
Awesome.
That was one of my favorites. And then I always do the cooking for Thanksgiving. Because I don't like dry turkey. I like to cook it the way I cook it.
No, you don't like dry rub,
Do you deep fry it?
No, I'm different. I use like cider or apple juice, and sometimes I've done other things, and I cook it in a cooking bag.
Okay,
Put it
in the bag. Yep, I've had that too. Yeah, that's good.
And we put apples or some kind of something like that to add a different flavor. I've even done wine, and that turned out pretty good too. So yeah, we do a lot of different things with it. The kids really enjoy it. Now I've got 3 grandsons; they enjoy it. So they'll ask me, "Well, how are you going to do the sweet potatoes this year, Mama?" and things like that. I just try to change things up every year.
That's good.
But we always have turkey.
Oh yeah,
But
turkey's
that
a
was
thing.
just some of the things. Yeah.
Yep. I think for me, one of my favorite things, honestly, would be when I was a kid in the fall. We would go to this place up in Canada called Algonquin Park, and we would go camping up there every year in the fall. I just loved it. Like so pretty. It was like right on a lake, and all the trees were like the color was just like amazing. I think sometimes it's always hard for me to pick whether I like fall or winter better because the leaves on the trees. Like I love going hiking in the fall. That's one thing that me and my dad did a lot here in Georgia over like the last 10 years. We would do a lot of hiking like in the fall. It would change the leaves. For winter, I would have to say my best memory for winter, even though it's crazy, would have been that when I was a kid up in New York, that massive snowstorm that we had that was like 8 feet, and opening the garage door and not being able to see daylight, and the neighbors cutting off roofs and stuff like that, and being out of school for like I think it was close to a week that we were literally like out of school because like the roads were just so much snow. It took them forever to get it all removed. So that's probably my top winter memory. And then of course, Snowmageddon 2011 here in Atlanta when the city of Atlanta shut down for a week for like 3 inches of snow. So yeah, Dan, that was a big snowstorm for us. Thousands and thousands of cars, probably hundreds of thousands of cars trapped on the interstates. That was really quite memorable for me, for sure. So,
well,
But they make fun of us, but
I need to get off. My dad needs my help, so I'm going to get off and see what he needs.
All right, sounds good, man.
Steve, good to see you.
Good talking to you. Have a good evening. Stay warm up there.
Thanks, man.
So, David, you still with us here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. So we'll end with you. What is one of your favorite fall or winter memories that you have? Could be from recent, could be from the past.
Fall. Well, I like Thanksgiving and I like Christmas. My 2 main holidays that I observed. My family, we lived in a town called Harrison, Ohio, and I remember one school year we had so much snow that we were out of school for 14 days straight because of the weather. But this year for Thanksgiving, we're making a ham, and we're going to inject it with Chipotle, molasses, and then we're going to put 2 cans of Coke inside the crock pot.
Wow, that's
So
it's really good.
It's really good.
awesome.
Never heard of that before. I might have to try that.
Hey, gotta branch
something
out.
we haven't done.
Gotta branch out. Try something new for sure. So, it's been a pretty crazy year weather-wise. I mean, I was just kind of scrolling through my Twitter feed earlier and just remembering all the posts on the hurricanes and stuff like that with, Hurricane Florence and all the just back-to-back, 2 major back-to-back crazy hurricane seasons. It really reminded me of the 2004, 2005 hurricane season. And now we had like the 2017, 2018 hurricane season. So, I mean, it's been crazy. Nice picture there, Dan.
Yeah, we were talking about you were talking about fall colors and that, and well, that reminded me of something that I took up here in Devil's Lake in Wisconsin, and this was a few years ago. But aside from Christmas, that may be my favorite holiday, but my favorite time of year is in the fall, and that's just a changing of the colors, and it's just a beautiful area if you ever get a chance to get out that way.
Yeah,
I just wanted to kind of share that with you.
How far is Devil's Lake from where you're at?
I don't know, about 2 hours maybe.
Gotcha. Maybe one of our viewers has an amazing fall picture or a winter picture. We would love to see your guys' pictures. Tweet us. Just use the hashtag EWV Live in your post so we can see it. And we would love to, retweet that picture out. This here's a picture here from Stone Mountain Park. Again, we had some beautiful fall colors here, as always. And this is one of my favorite pictures. Showing some of the fall colors and the reflection there on the lake here at Stone Mountain. This is on the kind of the back side of the mountain, opposite side of the carving and stuff like that. But again, one reason I just love fall, just like the colors and, the temperature and it's nice. And when it's not raining, nice clear blue sky and things like that. But we, again, here at Extreme Weather Videos, we love seeing your guys' pictures, viewers, fans, followers. So, again, post them up. Use the hashtag EWV Live on Twitter or at ExtremeWXVideos. You can tag us directly in them. Post them up on our Facebook page in your guys' pictures. Maybe you got pictures of the winter storm going through there if you're in the Northeast, or just some nice fall foliage if you're in the maybe down here in the Southeast with the fall. I mean, it's kind of past, but maybe you got some pictures. So there's another picture here from Dan of, is that Devil's Lake there?
Yeah, that's Devil's Lake. That's way on the other side of the lake from where the other picture was taken from. That first picture there I took while we were going through one of the trails. But you can hike up on top of those bluffs. There's one on the other side. Would be way to the left from where I'm standing here now. But yeah, that's just another one that I took. Actually, we took that one right off from the side of the road there. We were actually on our way home. And then I saw the light just hitting that bluff just right. And had to get out real quick, take a picture of it before we started heading back home. So, yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, guys, it's been really great getting to be back here on StormCast, and we'll definitely try and do another one of these sooner rather than later. So be sure to follow us on our Facebook page, Periscope, Twitter. We'll let you guys know when we'll be doing another one. And again, thank you so much for joining us. Dan, David, Georgia, thank you guys for being here with us this evening. And have a great rest of your evening. Happy holidays to everyone. We'll hopefully catch up with everyone here maybe sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then probably again following the new year. So thank you so much for tuning in, and continue to keep calm and chase on.